Are we recording? Okay, thank you. Hi, Frank.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Great. My name is Priscila Hawthorne. I'm the founder and CEO of The Maximum Life. And before we begin, I want to say something very personal about why this conversation matters so much to me. Frank came first into my life as a doctor at a time when I was very sick with autoimmune disease. You helped me understand my health in a completely different way that I had before, and had played a major role in helping me keep this condition at bay for the past few years. Beyond that, I had the chance of experiencing up close how you think, how deeply you listen to what we are saying, how seriously you take each one of your patients, how committed you are to continue to learn, to challenge things, to understand what's going on, and to always be a little bit of a rebel about what's going on in the world. What became very clear to me is that what Frank brings to medicine is really rare and beautiful, and I felt strongly that this way of thinking and caring should reach far more people than one doctor alone would ever be able to do. That became one of the reasons I founded The Maximum Life and asked Frank to join me as the Chief Medical Officer, so that your philosophy, your protocols, your standards, all your care could help shape other physicians and it reach much more people over time. For those who may not know Frank as well, he has been practicing medicine for more than 40 years and is widely recognized as one of the pioneers of integrative and functional medicine. He's the founder and director of 1111 Wellness Center in New York, where we are today, has guided thousands of patients over the course of his career, and is the author of multiple books that have helped shape the public conversation around health, aging, and longevity. So, as I said, this is really personal to me. It comes from deep gratitude, real admiration, and a desire to help build something that will allow Frank's legacy to live far beyond any one practice or one generation. Thank you for having this conversation, Frank. I hope this helps people understand you and what are your ways of practicing medicine.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
It's so true.
Very moving.
So, to start, I would love you to share how you first became interested in this broader, more integrative side of medicine, and what first drew you beyond the conventional model.
So it started when I was training in South Africa as a physician, and I was exposed to sangomas, to traditional healers. And I noticed when we couldn't help some of the patients, the family would call in the local sangoma, and sometimes the patients got better. So at that stage, it didn't really mean anything to me, but obviously stored it in the back of my head. I believed in Western medicine. I was getting trained in Western medicine. I thought that was nonsense. But something obviously stayed that I realized that maybe there are other ways to treat people. And that I saw more of that when I was practicing in the bush, and I was exposed to traditional healers again, and I saw more frequently patients that we couldn't help were being helped by these traditional healers, and I thought their medicine was nonsense. So that got me interested, and that's sort of the beginning of the journey. And then as a physician, you realize, if you're being honest, you realize early on that Western medicine is great at certain things. If someone breaks a bone, if someone's acutely ill, it's not very good at most of the problems that you see day to day. So I realized early on that there must be other ways, because if I really wanted to help people, my training was very limited. So I began exploring different ways of helping people, and that was in the early 80s.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
And then you found out and worked with acupuncture.
Yeah, so then I started dabbling in South Africa with homeopathy and with a couple of different things. And I came to the States and I had to do a residency program. And during my, to get a license in New York, I needed to get 3 years in the residency program. And very early on in the residency program, I got disillusioned with medicine in America. And I said to Janice, who, my wife, I said, I don't want to be a doctor here. And there happened to be an acupuncture clinic attached to the hospital I was doing a residency at. So, this was the South Bronx in the early 80s, burnt out areas full of crack and heroin addicts. And the acupuncture clinic was treating heroin and crack addicts with acupuncture. So, I was told about the clinic by someone at the hospital. I went to check it out. And long story short, I fell in love with acupuncture and I started studying acupuncture. And that was really the true sort of beginning of my serious journey into other ways of helping people.
Good. So today your practice always a mix of how do you understand the patient. When you think about longevity and preventive medicine, what do those ideas really mean to you beyond the way they're often talking about today?
Well, to me, this is all just good medicine. Preventive medicine is part of good medicine. In good medicine, you should try to prevent illness. Longevity medicine is just try to keep people healthy as they get older. And the regular medicine to me is a lot of functional medicine. And then when we need acute care medicine, it's Western medicine. So for me, I just see this as good medicine. When prevention is needed, you do that. When longevity is needed, you do that. When functional medicine is needed, you do that. And when someone needs surgery
antibiotics or surgery.
Exactly. So to me, this is all just one medicine. It's not either or.
Good. Love it. How late is too late, if ever, to start improving your health span? Can people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond still make meaningful changes? Or are we all doomed and we cannot start? Is there a time specific that we should start?
No, it's never too late. You can start in your 70s, you can probably even start in your 80s. The problem is the later you start, the harder it is. The earlier you start, the easier it's going to be. But it's never too late. I mean, we have patients who start in their 60s and 70s. They still put on muscle mass. They still get healthier. So it's never too late. But the older you start, the harder it is.
Good. When you do a deep review of a patient, what matters most to you? What do you look for beyond the obvious symptoms, diagnosis, or lab results?
So I think what I think is very important, is what I would call the art of medicine. What's happened today is we're training great technicians. It's all very well to know lab results and know, the information around lab results and treat the lab results. So we can teach doctors to be good technicians, which is what happens today. But to me, what's more important is let's say you're sitting in front of me, getting to know a little bit about where your head's at, how you think, what you believe, how far can push you. Everyone's a little bit different. So for me, to try get a sense of who that person is sitting in front of me, how many supplements can they take? Are they going to be into hormones? Do you think peptides are a good idea? Do you think I need to try explain to them what's going on from a different perspective, what their belief systems are? So all of that is important. And creating a good relationship and a trust is crucial. I always quote the Dalai Lama says the three most important aspects of medicine are the belief of the patient, the belief of the physician, and the karma, the relationship between the two. So for me, the most important thing is for the patient to walk out the room, to walk off the Zoom, which is harder, and feel good about what happened. Because if they believe in me, if they believe in the process, and they trust me, the chances of them getting better are much greater. So the most important thing is to get people to believe in what you're doing and to trust you. If that happens, that's probably the most important thing. You know, the art of medicine to me is fostering a really good relationship. The technical part is great. You can teach anyone the technical part, and that's what we do. We've forgotten the art of medicine. And to me, that's probably the most important part. And unfortunately, I think in America, the focus is on the science and not the art. From my perspective, good medicine is both the science and the art.
Good. You often tell me, and this is being me, a patient of Frank for many years now, that part of the process is to keep learning, adjusting, and experimenting so we can better understand ourselves. As your patient over the past years, I've experienced that with you directly, especially when it comes to things like supplements, hormones, peptides, where the right answer is not always immediate, sometimes takes real observation and refinement. And I wanted you to share a little bit how and what you think, that how important this is to health, that willingness to listen, adjust, personalize over time, something you believe that everyone should embrace. Is it for everybody? Is it not? Should we try to listen or not? Because usually we go to the doctor will usually say, this is what you're doing, and there's no conversation after. My experience with you is very different than that. We talk about, and I call you and I say, this is easy, this is how I'm feeling, or I didn't find the effect to be so useful. And you taught me to listen to my body much more than I ever did over the time of my life.
Yeah, so I think this is really important when it comes to medicine. There's no one way. What helps you will not help the next person and can actually do harm to the third person. So it's really important to see what's helpful, what's harmful, what dose is important. For instance, you know, Janice, my wife, she needs very small doses of things. If I give her a little bit too much, she starts getting side effects. So you see that a lot. So personalizing treatments is crucial because everyone is different. Same as we're different on the outside, we're different on the inside. Our biochemistry is unique. So what meds, what supplements, what peptides work for one person may not work for the other person. So it's very important to adjust doses, types of treatments according to what's working and be honest about it. You know, the same thing doesn't work for everyone. So people ideally need to listen to their bodies and tell us what it doesn't work. If I give you something and it's not working, then you need to, you need to acknowledge this is not good. We need to move on. And that's to me the art of medicine. There's a science, but there's a big part which is art, which is, fine-tuning things according to people's needs.
Which needs to happen together between
Absolutely.
the patient and the doctor in a very good relationship.
Absolutely, it's a partnership. When I have a patient, I'm helping that person on their journey. You've got to be partners. The old model of the doctor knows everything and the patient has to listen, those days are over. It should be a partnership where you both listen to each other. I learn a lot from my patients. So listening is really important. And if your doctor is not a partner, find another doctor.
Love it. I know personally that you do not get pulled into hype, and that your perspective on longevity and preventive medicine comes from a much more serious medical place. When do you look into what's happening in the field right now? What do you think is most promising and what brings you concern?
Well, promising, there's just so much new information, so many biomarkers that we can check to pick things up earlier, new testing that we couldn't do years ago, which can pick up disease earlier. So lots of promising things, and new, from supplements to peptides to even using drugs in a different way, low dose of certain drugs. So lots of promising things. Concern, I'm not really concerned. More what bothers me or what maybe saddens me is Okay, wait, you'll have to edit this.
That's okay.
I'm not really concerned about anything, but I think what we need to be aware of is this explosion of social media and influencers and experts promoting things that may or may not be correct. So I'm not concerned about it, but it's something we need to be aware of because I don't think it's dangerous. I don't think this explosion of peptides that people getting anywhere and taking by themselves is that serious. I mean, it's not the best thing, but it's not that serious. So the concern, I'm not, but I think things can be better. Right, there's a better way of saying all of this. You're going to have to edit. Hey? Wary, thank you. Thank you. So I'm not really concerned about anything that's going on because I think it's good that more people are aware of longevity, staying healthy, a lot of, whether it's peptides or supplements that people didn't know about maybe 5-10 years ago. So I'm not concerned because I think they're basically safe. I am wary because of the social media influences and the promotion of things that may or may not be correct, and the power of marketing and medicine becoming just another product that you sell and market. Am I concerned about it? No, but it's not the best thing, and I'm wary of what could happen. But there are lots of concerns I have about Western medicine too. So it's not just concerned or wary about a lot of the proliferation of things that shouldn't be out there like they are. But this is America, where marketing a product is probably the way things work.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to go a little bit personal now. Mm-hmm. How does aging feels to you personally? Do you feel old?
No, I don't feel old. I mean, aging to me is the realization that I can't do some of the things that I used to do. If I spend the weekend with my grandson, I'm exhausted at the end of the weekend because, I'm being very physical and running around a lot. So I can't do some of the things that I could do maybe 20, 30 years ago, but you adjust. So the other thing is, as you get older, everything becomes harder. If I have 2 nights of bad sleep, I feel it much more than I did 10, 20 years ago. In the old days, you can abuse yourself more. You can eat more crap. You can, do things you wouldn't really affect you. Now, I can't, I have to, my window of opportunity or of my window of abuse is much smaller. You come to terms with it. So, I make a point of going to bed earlier. I make a point of exercising regularly. I try and make a point of eating healthily. I still love ice cream. I don't eat as much as I used to eat. These are just little tweaks that you got to make. This is a reality. Does it bother me? No, you get used to it. It's no use fighting it.
Well, you still ride a bike very well.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Still very sharp with the mind. So
sort of, yeah. Maybe a bit less, but yeah.
And you follow your methodology per what you were saying. Many people try to do everything all together, trying to follow the perfect playbook to try and stay healthy over time. What is your view on the perfection to doing everything all together, and how do you think people should really think on pursuing longevity?
Yeah, I feel very strongly about this. In fact, in my new book, I talk about it. I think this longevity world, this bro culture about optimizing everything, I'm not against it. I still wear CGM, a continuous blood glucose monitor sometimes. I wear an Oura ring. Yeah, I measure things. But I'm not obsessed by it. I still have ice cream with my grandson. I still do things that are going to give me joy. if you take the meaning, purpose, and the joy out of life, it takes too much out of life. I feel, a lot of these people are optimizing the life out of their lives. So you can optimize, which is great, but you need to stand back and, if we have guests and you have a late night, that happens. Not that I drink alcohol. I'm not fond of alcohol, but I'll have a glass of wine if it's around a table with people, the company I'm enjoying. So I think you can't not do what I feel is more important to health than optimizing everything. I think, having an ice cream with my grandson and I'm really enjoying it probably does more for my health than all the other crap that I do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think that's really important you can't take the life out of your life. And I think too many people are doing that. So I feel very strongly that, yes, it's important to measure. Yes, it's important to exercise, eat well, sleep, etc., etc. But don't obsess over it. Just, you got to be smart about it.
One of the great things I admire most about you is how generously you share your knowledge with physicians, with your patients, with people in general, not really from a place of scarcity, but from a real desire to help other people have knowledge of the good things in life and good medicine, as you say. That was one of the reasons that I really wanted to create something that could be built around your knowledge and your thinking of helping other physicians to be trained in your protocols. Do you think about legacy in that way, Frank, as something that can live on throughout others? And can you speak a little bit about your abundancy mindset?
Well, I don't think about legacy yet. Maybe I'm 71, I better start thinking about. I don't think about legacy. I don't think about these things. But what I will say, and what I've sort of realized, is my most important teachers were not doctors. My most important teachers were my parents, who taught me to question things. My Chinese medicine teachers, Ephraim Korngold and Harriet Beinfeld, who taught me to think differently. My yoga teacher, Lindsay Clennell, who showed me how important the mind is and how you see things. And his lens that he taught me to see life through was really important to the way I think. And then probably Jeff Bland, who's the father of functional medicine, who put a lot of this together in a Western perspective. So those are probably my most important teachers. None of them are physicians. And I think I bring a lot of that teaching into, I synthesize things, and I think I've brought a lot of those teachings into what I do. And unfortunately, younger doctors don't get taught those things. So they don't learn them. So part of what I've always felt is important is, how do I bring those aspects of medicine, because it's all medicine, into what should be medicine. Let's call it the art of medicine. So my feeling has always been doctors are missing out on. I was lucky enough to be exposed to wisdom from these people that you're not going to get at medical school. It's, you learn knowledge, not wisdom. So for me, bringing that wisdom into the next generation is important. I don't see it as legacy. I don't see it as abundance. I've always felt the more you can teach people, the better, the better it is for everyone. I think doctors should be educators. And I think doctors, you talk about abundance. I've always thought that people get attracted to personalities. Certain types of people come and see me, certain types of people will see the next doctor. We have a wonderful nurse practitioner here. I may be double her age and much more experience in her, but I think she probably does better with a lot of patients than I would do. Everyone gets attracted and works better with certain people. So not sharing that information is not going to, or sharing that information is not going to affect who sees you. If you're doing a good job and people like what you do and you get good results, and you're going to be busy. So I've never thought of it as abundance or not, but that's just the way it is. I mean, people come and see me because they connect with me.
Yes.
And the same type of people will do better with someone else. So that's just how it works.
Good. You mentioned a little bit about your book. Can
Yeah.
you share what are you exploring with that book and what we can look forward for this next chapter of your work?
Yeah, I think the book is, the publishers actually came to me and they wanted me to write a book because I was done with books. I had seven, 8 books. I thought that's enough. I don't want to write another book. They came to me and they said, we want a longevity book. And I felt that my view or my philosophy on longevity is a little bit different to the bro culture. I haven't seen books that I think a lot of my patients, women in particular, can relate to. Because the bro culture is great. I think there are 10, 20 books on bro longevity. But I haven't seen a softer version of how do you age well? How do you age better? So I thought it would be good to share what I found helpful in helping people age better. The art of medicine, the art of aging, how you don't have to go crazy, you got to enjoy yourself. So that was the idea of the book. I still talk about peptides and hormones and supplements and low dose medications. I talk about the pyramid that I think is important, that the basics are the basics. How you eat, how you sleep, how you exercise, your community, relationships, purpose and meaning. All those are your foundation. And then all these other things that can be helpful. And I tell a lot of stories from patients that I've seen help. So I think it's a great book. I'm loving it. It'll hopefully be out in January. But I think a lot of people will relate to it because I tell a lot of patient stories, typical stories. People come in with X, Y, and Z and they didn't get help by traditional medicine. This is what we did. So I like the book. It's my philosophy laid out. It's very honest, very personal, and we'll see.
I love it. Last question before we wrap up. Can you tell me how one typical day of yours is? What time do you get up?
It's
what
boring.
do you do?
My days are boring. Yeah, I get up early. I wake up at 5 o'clock, sometimes even earlier, but generally around 5 o'clock I wake up. I will have tea with Janice. I'll either work out. When I'm out, I'll go for a ride, especially in the summer. I'll go for an early morning ride. Depends where I am. Sometimes I'll have a sauna afterwards. But basically I get up, have a cup of tea, exercise. I don't eat. I usually try fast for at least 14 to 16 hours. So I'll do whatever I have to do. I'll have my first meal around 11 o'clock. And then if I'm working, I see patients. If I'm not working, I'm writing. I don't know what I'm doing. It's boring. And then I'll eat later. And I usually have 2 meals and a snack a day. And I try to go to bed at the same time every day. I try see my grandson as much as I can. I try to do things that I enjoy as much as I can. It's a boring life.
It's a good life. Looks very good.
I just at an age where I just do things that I want to do. I have fantastic staff. I love coming. Then I come into the office. I have a wonderful team that I work with. I have a wonderful family. I love my patients. Life is good. So I just sort of do similar things all the time.
I love it. It looks like it plays a great role for you in longevity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank
I hope
you.
you all enjoyed learning a little bit about Frank, longevity, good medicine, his new book that's coming out. We're looking forward to it. And stay tuned for the next talks with Frank. Have a great day, everyone. Piece of cake. Did you enjoy?
Yeah.
That was easy.
Was it good?
It was very good.
Good, yeah.
What
it
did
was
you
great.
get?